And let's turn on the... Okay, we got everything turned on. And here is, got some questions. I'm looking, see if they're in order. I don't think they are, so I'm going to subject. Now they're in order. All right, first one is, got 2 sent, and I think they just sent them accidentally together, but we'll do it anyway. 1.1 or 1.219, 1.219/18. And let's see if it is a test question. Is it a test question that I would put on the test? Let's see. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This one I would put on the test. Limit as x is equal to -4 of x squared minus 16 over x plus 4. And this is what you would do. You'd say, okay, if I plugged in -4, that's going to give me 0 over 0, which is undefined. So the whole thing is undefined. And no, nothing's that easy in calculus. Okay? So you got a nothing that easy. Therefore, we got to use some algebra and factoring. When you get something that simple and it's undefined, you get a 0 down here, the first thing you think of is, no, nothing's that simple. I got to do something else. So that's when you do your algebra. Limit as x equals -4. Shortcut number 3. X plus 4, x minus 4 over x plus 4. And what happens to the x plus 4s? They cancel. So limit as x approaches -4 of x minus 4 is what? -8. With an open circle at what? At -4. So that's a test question, so make sure you make a note of it. Although I have given y'all examples of the test questions, and some of y'all missed the test question, what branch of service did I serve in?
Are you kidding me?
Some of y'all missed it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to mention how many, because I don't want anybody to try to figure out who would miss a simple ass question like that.
Please tell us who.
No, I'm not going to do it. It was more than 3 and less than 10. Good God. All you got to do is read the information sheet. I told you there was going to be 2 questions come off that information sheet. Anyway.
What did they answer?
Of course, they answered the Army. The worst of the whole group, they answered Army.
They could have said Navy at least.
And then I had an email this weekend about a student freaking out because she couldn't get her homework done because Blackboard was down.
It's not on Blackboard.
Well, no, she couldn't go to Pearson through Blackboard.
Oh.
So I didn't say anything because I told all my classes, you got to have plan B. You go to Pearson, And then I had one, I still got one student, this is no joke, not in here. I still got one student that is sending me homework questions with pictures. Yeah, they don't know that they can send me questions to Ask My Instructor.
They don't see the.
They're sending me questions with pictures and sending them in email. Of course, I'm ignoring them. All right, so there's the answer. The answer is -8. We are like 4 weeks into the semester, and these people blow my mind. Let's see if this is a different one. I don't think it is. I think it's the same question. Yep, same question. Okay, so I can delete those two. Delete that one, delete that one. This is 1.2, 25/21. 1.2, 25/21. Is it a test question like that last one? Yep. So limit as x approaches 4 of x cubed minus 64 over x minus 4. This is shortcut number what? Number 5. So limit as x approaches 4 of x minus 4 times x squared plus 4x plus 16 over x minus 4. And the x minus 4's cancel. And limit as x approaches 4 of x squared plus 4x plus 16, parentheses squared plus 4 times parentheses plus 16, 4, 4, 16 plus 16 plus 16, dang old 48. So your answer is 48 with an open circle at 4. X is equal to 4. And that's on the, this is on the graph. If you were to graph it, there'd be an open circle at x is equal to 4. The answer is 48. 2 good test questions. And you should feel good about yourself.
Very.
So you don't have to drive one of those squatted trucks that looks like a dog scratching his butt on the floor.
Or
Next,
one of those Chrysler cars that sounds like it's farting.
oh, well, there's a Ranger in Anderson that sounds like a sewing machine. And if y'all take enough psychology classes, girls, take all the psychology classes you can, because you need to find out early when to run in the other direction. And that is an indicator. If you see a guy driving a 4-banger and he has super loud and it sounds like a sewing machine, run in the other direction.
Oh yeah, my internet just stopped for a second. I only heard the last little part.
That's all right. You don't need to worry about it. It's just the women need to worry about it.
Yes.
All right. Next, 1.2, 28, 22. 1.2, 28/22. Y'all better be glad I kind of shortened the 1.1 through 1.3 homework. You're welcome. Oh yeah, this is a test question. Limit as x approaches 144 of the square root of x minus 12 over x minus 144. Now, what do you do here? Well, you say to yourself, well, I can't use a shortcut. I can't use a shortcut. I can't factor. I can't do either of those. So there's only one thing left in limits that you can use, and that is rationalize. Where do we have a radical? In the top. So I'm going
In our
to
government.
multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the square root of x minus 12. And that will be the square root of x, what? Plus 12, Hubert. That's right, class. So that's going to give me shortcut number 3 right here. And whenever you do rationalize, it's going to give you shortcut number 3. That's the whole point of doing it. Which is going to give you a squared minus b squared over all this trash, x minus 144 times square root of x plus 12. And this is going to be x. That cancels with that. So that's going to give you x minus 144 over, and you got x minus 144 square root of x. So that's going to be x times the square root of x plus 12x minus 144 square root of x. And I don't know what negative 1 times 144 times 12 is, so I'm just going to write it 144 times 12. And I thought it would come out better than that. I'm looking to see, we can't rationalize. We could rationalize the denominator. That would be a mess. So I'm looking to see if there's anything you can simplify here. There's nothing you can simplify except that. And it's going to give you 0.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you do where it says the x minus 144 on top instead of like factoring that out? Could you cancel those two, or no?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Where it's x minus 144 on the top, and then you have it on the bottom in the step before. Could you just cancel those out?
Now you can't cancel when you got pluses and minus right here. You can't cancel.
Did you have to distribute it, or could you have canceled it out first?
Distribute what?
Like, were you on the like the, I don't know how to explain it on here. The step
right here where you did the FOIL method.
Yeah, could you
cancel this one with this one? No, you can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Well, wait a minute. You could. I think you could. Yeah, you could. I didn't think about that. You're right. Thank you. You could cancel that. So that would be x minus 144. That would cancel with that. You're right. Equals 1 over the square root of x plus 12. Thank you. And square root of x plus 12, that's going to be 12 plus 12, which is equal to 1 over 24. Thank you. Who was that, Miss Brody? Was that Miss Brody?
Yes, sir.
Brody! Good job. Thank you. Where's Hooper? Is Hooper here? I don't see Hooper. Hooper ain't here. All right, so 1 over 24. Let's see what happens. 1 over 24. Good job, Miss Brody. I was going so fast, I didn't even see that. Thank you. What happens when you go fast? Next question. Come on, I know we got a difference quotient somewhere. All right, this is 1.2, 28, 22. 1.2, 28 slash 22. Turn the mute on, please, Watson. Okay, that's the same question. So we did that one.
Look at that fatty.
Let's see.
Tag right there.
Next question.
Look at that fatty. He's tagged.
Next question. 1.2, 29, 23. Well, that's one off from the one we just did. So we'll do that one too. Wanted to get to the, I thought we'd get a bunch of, all right. This one says limit x goes to 4 of x squared plus 2x minus 24 over x squared minus 8x plus 16. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see what happens when you plug in 4. 4 would be 16 minus 32 is negative 16. Okay, so it will give you, so we got to either factor or rationalize or shortcuts, one of those three. So I'm going to use reverse FOIL to factor. And that's going to give me 2 sets of parentheses here, 2 sets of parentheses here, x here, x here, x here, x here. Let's see, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. 1 and 24 give you a 25 or 23. 2 and 12 will give you a 14 or 10. 3 and 8 will give you a 5 or an 11. 4 and 6 will give you a 2 or a 10. We want a 2, so 4 here, 6 here. This means that the biggest number has to be positive. And this means unlike down here, 1 and 16, 2 and 8. 3 won't go into 16. 4 will go into 16. 5, 6. 1 and 16 will give me a 17 or a 15. We need an 8. 2 and 8 will give us a 6 or a 10. We need an 8. 4 and 4, so put you a 4 there. 4 there. This means the biggest number has to be 4. This means like. So the x minus 4s cancel. Now, a lot of y'all say, well, Hubert, why didn't you just put the numbers? Why did you go through all this? Because I know there's some of y'all out there that suck at it. And that's why I did this. And that's going to give us limit as x approaches 4 of x plus 6 over x minus 4. We're still going to get it undefined because that doesn't cancel out. So limit as, so we're going to say the limit doesn't exist. I don't know if they give you that option, but we've already done all we can. I don't know if did they put does not exist, or let's see what they, yeah, that's it. The correct answer is x plus 6 over x minus 4. That's all you can do. You can't do anything else. Limit does not exist. Well, you could say the limit does not exist. So I like that question if it gave you just this answer right here, either A or B. I don't like that because that confuses you. But they did rewrite it. They said limit as x approaches 4 of what? And that's why they put that in there. I didn't know, I didn't even realize that's what they were wanting. And then this is limit does not exist, because once you've done everything you can, once you've factored, once you've rationalized, once you've used the shortcuts, if you still can't get this to work, then what? Limit does not exist. Okay. Next question. 1.229/23. I think we just did that one. Yeah, we just did that one. Darn, I thought we were going to get a few of the completing the squares. Okay, I guess not. So 1.2, let's go back to the drawing board. And since we've done a couple of 1.2 questions, let's go back to 1.4. I want to get to the derivatives. I want to move on. I rebooted my computer for class. Yes.
Just as a heads up, I gotta leave in a few minutes, but I'll watch the rest of this once it's
Okay.
posted.
Greg.
That'd be fine.
All right, thank you.
Remember, Mr. Moselle was here. Was that Mr. Moselle?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody remind me when I take the roll, he was here. All right. I'll remember. Most of the time I remember. Let's go to, let's see what they got under the, I haven't ever looked at the slides that they have in this class, see if they suck or not. PowerPoint. I think we started on 1.4, did we not? Yes or no?
I am not. I don't know.
Y'all suck. 1.4. I think that's where we go into the difference quotient. Ooh. Did I forget to turn on my, did I not turn on my, sorry, I suck. There we go.
We know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference quotient. And they're showing you everything that I've been showing you. So I'm just seeing, now there's one right there. If you ever have to do a cube, let's do a cube. Let's do a cube because y'all haven't done a cube. So let's do a cube. I don't know why that went dead. Them damn Russians. There we go. Oh, I went to fill up my truck the other day and it was $3.25. But we don't have mean tweets anymore. So that's
Per
all.
gallon.
Long as Hunter's okay. Long as Hunter can get his
Crack pipe.
math, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, f of x is equal to x cubed. And I want you to find the derivative. Now, of course, the derivative is 3x squared, but I want you to do it with the difference quotient. M is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And limit as h approaches 0. All right, so go to it. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do x cubed with the difference quotient. We'll put you on timer. That way, it'll make you feel even bad. Make you feel even more anxiety. How about that? Y'all for anxiety, ain't you? Let's go with clock and timer, and let's go with 3 minutes. And if you can't do it, we all know that you're pretty much a loser. All right, so as you can see, I've got x plus h quantity cubed. Well, that's going to be x plus h times x plus h squared, which is shortcut number 1. Now I've got to distribute this. So x times x is x cubed. X times 2x is 2x squared h. X times h is 8xh squared. X times that is going to be x squared h. H times that is 2xh squared. And h times that is h cubed minus x cubed over h, and the limit as h approaches 0, and the x cubes cancel. I'm going to factor out an h. That's going to leave me with 2x squared plus xh squared. Oh, shoot. xh plus x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. If I did that correctly. And all that's over h. I'm going to check it right quick. That h goes out. That h becomes 1h. That h goes out. That h becomes that h. And that h becomes that h. Okay? Now, of course, the h's cancel. And that's going to leave us with 2x squared plus 1x squared plus 1xh plus 2xh plus h squared. Limit as h approaches 0. 2x squared plus 1x squared is 3x squared. 3xh plus h squared. Limit as h approaches 0. And what happens to this equation when h approaches 0? What happens? Oh, come on, pre-calculus students. Y'all have seen this before. What does the 0 do? What does the 0 do when you plug it in?
Makes
Make it a
those.
zero.
And you're left with what? And 3x squared is the derivative
I'll be right
of what?
I'll be right back.
Is the derivative of x cubed. Now, eventually, after we get through 1.4, we're going to take this guy and we're going to put him out front and we're going to subtract 1, and that's going to leave us with 3x squared, which is the derivative of 3x. This is calculus. Going from here to here, that's your calculus. All right, let's do another one. And that's what you're showing. They're showing you on that slideshow. And there it is. 3x squared. 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. And f prime of x, which is the derivative, we'll get to that later, is 3x squared. Okay? And then you can plug and chug 3x squared, and we'll get to that later too. Okay? Let's see what else they've got for us. All right, let's try that one. F of x is equal to 3 over x. Well, this is a fraction, so we already know half of y'all are going to quit on this one. F of x is equal to 3 over x. So I'm going to go ahead and get my f of x plus h minus f of x all over h limit as h approaches 0. So limit as h approaches 0 of,
Hey, Hubert.
yes.
I'm going to have to, I'll be back in a minute. My truck is being towed to a shop right now from the house.
All right.
So I'm going to have to
Go
go.
ahead. Just try to get back. If not, just watch the video.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll try and be back in a few minutes.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Minus, well, that's supposed to be black. Minus 3 over x.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I suck. There we go. All over h. And x plus h goes right here. Now we've got what we call a complex rational expression. And a complex rational expression means you need to simplify it by multiplying through by the common denominator. And when we multiply through by the common denominator, it will clear some of this out. Common denominator of x, x plus h, and 1 is x times x plus h over 1, x times x plus h over 1. Technically, I'm multiplying by something over itself, which is 1, so I'm not really doing anything. So I'm going to put a baby step in here. X times x plus h over 1. X times x plus h over 1. X times x plus h over 1. Now I'm going to put in all my other stuff. And this is going to be h over 1. And this is going to be 3 over, and this is going to be 3 over x. And this is going to be a minus symbol. Limit as h approaches 0. And the x plus h goes right there. And that's called a complex rational expression. You should have done them in Algebra 2. And I'm going to just move that up a little bit. And that's going to be limit as h approaches 0 of, well, what happens here, take our red marker, and that's going to cancel out with that and leave 3x. So I'm going to get a 3x right here. And then minus, and then I'm going to cancel that x with that x right there. And that's going to leave 3 times x plus h, actually a negative 3, this negative x plus h, all over h times x times x plus h. I want y'all to work with this right here and see if you can simplify anything. Go ahead and work with that, see if you can simplify it. I'm trying to keep as much as I can for you to see. I'm going to just move it on up if it'll work with me. Put some pins across here, or put my ruler and see if it'll hold it. All right, so that's going to be limit as h approaches 0 of 3x, and that minus 3x is going to be minus 3x and that negative times that is going to be negative h over h times x plus h. And you see the 3x's are going to cancel. And that h is going to cancel with this h. And it looks like that's going to be, I'm just going to write it in black. Limit as h approaches 0 of negative 3 over x times x plus h. And what happens when you plug in 0? You're going to get x times x on the bottom, right? And that's going to give you negative 3 over x squared, which is equal to negative 3 x to the negative 2. Now I can go back up here. Well, let me just rewrite it right here. F of x is equal to 3 over x, or 3x to the negative 1. Bring this out, minus 1. And that's going to be negative 3x to the negative 2. That's what we got right there. So this right here is 100% calculus. This right here, this right here is algebra plus the limit theory. All of this is algebra plus the limit theory, and all you had to do was pretty much just do that right there. So hopefully when we get to the calculus section, you'll be thanking Isaac Newton for coming up with all this, so you don't have to do 3 pages of algebra every time you do a problem when you're designing a bridge.
I have returned.
Well, that's good, MacArthur. All right,
That's what I was going for.
next. Let's see if they give us another one. Nope, they don't give us another one. So that's 1.4. So let's look at 1.5. Because that's where you're going to start seeing us getting into calculus. Well, I thought it was going to start. There we go. 1.5. Okay, there it is. There's the power rule. So we're starting in 1.5. Does anybody want to do another difference quotient? Yes or no? If you suck at it, you might want to jump at the chance. Anybody?
I'd be good if we did another one.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, what? I heard somebody say I'd like to do another
Did
one.
another one. Yeah,
Okay.
me. It was me.
Okay, I'll be glad to do another one. Let's go to 1.4 homework.
Okay.
And let's do another one. And there's this 1.4 will be in end. Okay, here's one, x squared plus 5x. So I'm going to just put my white, I don't care what they have under it. I don't care, because all I'm going to test you on is, can you do it? And of course you can graph it, that's fine. And we'll show you what the graph means here in just a second. All right, so write it down. We want to graph, not graph the function, we do that in a minute. F of x is equal to x squared plus 5x. And I want you to run that through the difference quotient. And this is the kind I'd give you on a test. I usually don't give you cubes on a test because cubes take too long. I usually just give you squares, quadratics. So limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x a lot of people say, Hubert, why do you use all these colors? When I learned, when I was well, let me rephrase that. When somebody was presenting this to me at Tri-County Tech, they were very unsuccessful I couldn't figure out what the hell they were doing up here. I couldn't. And I was sitting through two, and I could not figure out what they were doing. And that's why I came up with the colors, because that way you can see that in this case, I'm going to plug in x plus h. And in this case, I'm just going to rewrite what's up here. And that's where I came up with the colors a long time ago. Helped some people. And some people invented the difference quotient, so they don't need it. Limit h approaches 0. And I'm going to rewrite this with a big set of parentheses. So parentheses squared plus 5 times parentheses minus x squared plus 5x, all that over h. Now I'm going to give y'all, well, since I've already set it up for you, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, because I'm fixing to finish setting it up right here. Now all you got to do is algebra. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and if you don't make it in 2 minutes, we're going to throw you out of class and then make fun of you after we throw you out of class. What do you think about that? Okay, nobody's going to say anything.
You suck, man.
I know. That's all right. At least I don't eat Tide Pods, snort condoms, and destroy restrooms like y'all's generation does.
Milk crates.
Oh yeah, don't forget the milk crates. Yeah, that's another dumbass thing that they come up with. That generation, I ain't kidding you. Y'all got some dumbasses in y'all's group. And notice nobody's standing up for nobody's standing up and saying, no, you crazy. No, you do. Even my son says that. There you go, 2 minutes. So you should be at least through with the canceling. So here we go. This is going to be shortcut number 1. So that's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. If you are saying to yourself, where does he keep getting that from? You shouldn't be saying that in calculus. That's all there is to it. Now, if you want to ask me outside of class, I'll be glad to go over it with you. But we went over the shortcuts in the review. Plus 5, plus 5, x, h, distributed that. Negative x squared, negative 5x, all of that over h, limit as h approaches 0. The x squared cancels, 5x cancels. I'm going to factor out an h. 2x plus h plus 5 over h, limit as h approaches 0. H's cancel. The h right here goes out with the 0. So the derivative is 2x plus 5. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of calculus here. Now, if you was to graph this, you would get a regular parabola at crossing at the origin. Let me see right quick. Let me do this right quick. X squared plus 5x plus blank is equal to 0 plus blank. 5 halves squared is 25 fourths. 25 fourths. X plus 5 halves quantity squared is equal to 25 fourths. So the vertex is negative 5 halves and negative 25 fourths. That's what I need, the vertex. The x-intercepts, let's see. The x-intercept's going to be 0, I believe. Yeah. Let me check. Square root, x plus 5 halves is equal to positive or negative 5 halves. X plus x is equal to positive or negative 5 minus 5 over 2. 5 minus 5 is 0. That's one x-intercept. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. So there's our x-intercepts. Y-intercept is 0. So we've got a graph that looks like this. 0 is one x-intercept. Negative 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. We got a vertex of negative 2.5. 1, 2. And negative what? 6 1/4. And looks something like this. And what is this 2x plus 5? F prime of x is equal to 2x plus 5. Well, I'm fixing to tell you. The derivative, that's what this is called. The derivative is equal to the equation of the tangent line at any point on the parabola. Parabola. That is the definition of the derivative. The equation of the tangent line at any point. Well, this point is 0. Well, let's say 1. This is 1. I'm going to draw a tangent line at 1. There's my tangent line. Well, what is the slope of that orange line? M is equal to 2 times 1 plus 5. I plugged in 1 right there. And 7. So the slope of the orange line is 7. What about the other side? Well, hold on. Let's say this is, what is this? Negative 1, 2, 3, 4. X is equal to 4. Well, that's going to be f prime of 4 is equal to 2 times 4 plus 5. Sorry, negative 4. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative what? Negative 3. So the slope at this line is negative 3. What about over here? Well, go over here. Let's get a green marker. Let's go with x is equal to negative 2. So m, or f prime of negative 2 is equal to 2 times negative 2 plus 5. And negative 4 plus 5 is equal to what? You can do this all day long. Let's do one more color. Let's do yellow and make it, let's see, 4, 5, make it 6. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit and put it right there because I'm running out of graph. So at 6, that's going to be 2 times 6 plus 5. 2 times 6 is, or sorry, negative, is negative 12 plus 5 is negative 7. So the slope of the yellow line is negative 7. That's why the derivative is so important. Now, just to finish class up and show you where we're heading, f of x, the power rule of calculus, power rule of calculus. This is 1.5. This is where we're heading. This is the basic rule of calculus right here. Power rule of calculus. F of x is equal to 3x squared. You take the 2, you multiply it by the 3, and then you subtract 1 off of the exponent. A to the n power is equal to n times a to the n minus 1. That's the power rule. 6x to the first. So the derivative f prime of x of 3x squared is 6x. Now I'm going to finish up here in just a second. I'm just going to tell you this. The secret to the power rule is not doing the power rule. Can anybody tell me that's had a pre-calculus class. Can anybody tell me what the secret to doing the power rule on these problems is? Anybody? The secret to the power rule is to rewrite anything with a negative exponent or a radical before you start. That's the secret. There's 3 types of problems in 1.5 power rule problems. There's one like this, which is normal. Just a regular, find the derivative. Then they give you one with a negative exponent or one with a fraction and you turn into a negative exponent. And the other one is with a radical. And those are the ones you rewrite before you start. You've got to have some form, and I'm going to put this in red. You've got to have some form of exponent when you start a problem with the power rule. You've got to change, you got to make sure you got a good exponent here and you got a good exponent here, because radicals and calculus don't mix. Radicals and calculus don't mix. If you go get a TI-89, does anybody know where the radical is on a TI-89? There ain't one, because a TI-89 is a calculus base calculator. So therefore, by the time you get to calculus, you're not writing the radical anymore. You're writing it in terms of exponents. Okay, and we'll get into that later. Comprende? This is 1.5. You don't need to be doing 1.5, but if you finish 1.3 through 1.4, maybe you can play with a few of the problems. If you don't, that's fine also, because I haven't covered 1.5 yet. All right, let me shut her down. Let's see, what time's class over? I can't see the clock. Yeah, it's time for class.
3:55.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all. It's 3:44. That's close enough for government work. Let's stop recording.